All right, welcome. Today we're diving into the truly strange and wonderful world of lithops. You might know them as living stones, and they come from southern Africa. And believe me, they present one of the most fascinating puzzles in the entire plant kingdom. Okay, so let's jump right in. Take a look at this picture. It seems like just a regular old patch of gravel, right? But there are actually several plants hiding here, in plain sight. Seriously, take a second. Can you spot them? If you found them, nice work. These are lithops, and they are absolute masters of disguise. I mean, they've evolved to perfectly, and I mean perfectly, mimic the stones all around them. It's a type of camouflage called crypsis, and it's a genius way to avoid getting eaten by some thirsty animal looking for a snack. But here's where it gets weird. Their camouflage is so good, but it brings up this massive question. Think about it. If they're all hiding from the same predators in the exact same spot, why in the world do they look so incredibly different from each other? And that is what we're calling the living stone puzzle. Yeah, this explosion of variety is just incredible. The fancy scientific term for it is polymorphism. But all that means is that you can find dozens, literally dozens of different colors and patterns all living side by side. It's like they have a whole wardrobe of disguises. And what's wild is that the variety in one tiny population can be even greater than between two populations hundreds of kilometers apart. It's a total head-scratcher. And figuring this out is going to show us evolution in a whole new light. Okay, so before we can really crack the case of their crazy variety, we've got to understand another one of their survival tricks. And this one is all about their shape and where they live. So get this, most of the lithops plant is actually underground. Only the very top surface is level with the soil. It's a great way to hide from that brutal sun and save every last drop of water in some of the driest places on Earth. But wait a minute, that brings up another problem, right? If you're buried in the dirt, how do you get sunlight to, photosynthesize and make food? Well, the answer is absolutely ingenious. They evolved windows. No, seriously. They have these translucent areas right on top of their leaves that act like little skylights, letting the sun shine down deep inside the plant to the tissues that do all the work, all while being safely tucked away underground. How cool is that? And it gets even smarter. They're incredibly adaptable. The size of these windows is perfectly tuned to the local weather. So in places that are a bit cloudier or get more rain, the windows are bigger to soak up all the light they can get. But out in the super sunny, dry spots, the windows are way smaller, basically to stop the plant from getting a nasty sunburn. It's just a beautiful, perfect example of natural selection doing its thing. Okay, so they're masters of surviving the climate. We've got that down. But that still doesn't explain the big mystery, right? The absolutely mind-boggling variety. Let's get back to that. I mean, really, why so many different patterns in the exact same place? What could possibly be pushing this level of diversity when these plants are packed in together, sharing the same dirt, and getting the same sun? It just doesn't seem to make sense. So, the first idea that probably pops into your head, and it's a good one, is that maybe each plant is just adapting to its tiny little microhabitat. It's matching the specific pebbles it's growing right next to. Seems pretty logical, right? Well, it sounds good, but when scientists actually looked into it, that whole idea just falls apart. For one, all these different-looking plants can freely reproduce with each other. But here's the real kicker. A single seed capsule from just one mother plant can grow into seedlings with pretty much all the different patterns you see in that population. So nope, it's not about matching one specific little rock. Something way more complicated is happening here. The mystery just got deeper. All right, to figure this out, we have to totally change how we're looking at the problem. We need to stop looking down at the plants and the soil and start looking through the eyes of a predator. See, predators aren't just wandering around hoping to bump into food. When they find something good to eat, their brain forms a search image. It's like a mental picture of what they're looking for. And once they have that image locked in, they get really, really good at finding more of that exact same thing while ignoring everything else. Now, that behavior creates this super powerful and kind of counterintuitive evolutionary force. It's called apostatic selection. And trust me, it's going to flip your whole idea of survival of the fittest right on its head. So here's how it works. A predator finds and eats a lithops that has a really common pattern. Boom. Now it has that search image. It gets super good at spotting that one specific pattern. All of a sudden, being the most common type is the worst thing you can be. You're now the #1 target. Meanwhile, all those rare, unusual-looking plants, they just get ignored. They survive. In this game, being the weird one, the different one, that's your ticket to survival. So let's bring this all back to our living stones. It's time to finally solve this puzzle. And here it is. The variety isn't the puzzle at all. The variety is the solution. This incredible explosion of patterns is a direct counterattack against predators. By being so different from one another, they make it impossible for a predator to lock on to a single search image. The diversity itself is the shield. It's the whole point. So let's break that down. The big takeaway here is that for Lithops, it's not about having the best disguise. It's about being lost in a crowd of different disguises. The goal is to make sure no single pattern ever becomes common enough for a predator to get good at finding it. The diversity of the whole group is what protects every single plant. But this incredible evolutionary story also comes with a warning. This unique and frankly brilliant adaptation is super fragile. These plants are highly specialized, and they're facing huge threats from things like habitat destruction and, sadly, illegal collection by people who want them for their own. You know, the story of the Lithops is such a great reminder that sometimes the biggest answers in evolution aren't about one single organism. It's about the complex, beautiful dance between predator and prey. It really makes you wonder, what other amazing evolutionary puzzles are out there just hiding in plain sight?